Can using a minimal phone setup help you actually be more productive, be better with your time management, maybe just not use the phone as much? Well, I took the experimental plunge and tried it out for a week, and I want to share with you the pros, the cons, what I'm going to implement, and maybe what I think was maybe going too far. So let's get started. I'm Adam with the Productivity Academy, and I want to jump into this and start it off with telling you why did I do this and why might you be wanting to do this? Well, if you're like anyone probably just about on the planet Earth these days, you have a phone, it's important, it's great, it has a lot of pros, I think, as opposed to cons, but it can be really distracting. You can find yourself defaulting to it when you've got a few moments, this or that. Or you just want to use it less, and you know that there are things that are built into phones that is meant to maximize your engagement time, and that's not always a good thing. So how it worked for me is I'll show some screenshots of what it looked like, and I'll put a link down in the description of the app I actually used. So what I did was I found this app. I don't recall how, but I was like, oh, this is nice. It's done for me. I don't have to install a theme. I don't have to deal with a bunch of stuff. It's just going to guide me through what I need to give permissions to, what I need to do, and it's done. I think that is really nice, and having that done for you is great. If you like tinkering on your own, you can do these same sorts of things with some launchers or other things. Now, this does apply to Android devices. If you have an iPhone, I'm sure there's some other way to do this, but I can't tell you how. So as in the pictures that you can see here, it's text only, no icons. Now that's important because we are very good at visually being cued in, but also with the colors used in app icons, things like that, it's easy to just kind of scroll through and be looking and like, oh, okay, yeah, the Instagram button pops out at me. I'm just going to click on that. Making it text-based actually takes longer. You have to know what you're looking for in the sense of matching the word and say, okay, I either want to type that in or I need to scroll through and look for the word. So again, it's just slowing down that immediate kind of usage of just see the button and push it. This also intercepted notifications, and you can choose what comes through. It wasn't just, nothing gets through or anything like that. But I found that to be really helpful. Like I don't need notifications from most of the social media apps. And of course, you can do this on a per app level, but how many of us have all of that figured out? Especially if you are changing apps, trying things, you probably haven't optimized everything per app. And if you have, good for you. I would say with this, what I did like, and again, in the screenshot, what you can see here is you can add your favorite apps to the home screen just with that text line. So, things for me, weather, Slack, other things that I just find myself multiple times a day and I need, whether it's work or personal, and I don't find it too distracting or it's helpful, like Reader and Readwise, I have those on there. Also, it's black and white, but apps and browsers retain the color. So when you open something up, it's not just black and white, and I found that to be nice. A lot of times I want that or need that for context, or if I'm watching a video, I want to see it in color. So I found that to be pretty nice. So the major pros I found for this was it was surprising, even though I thought when I went in to use this, I was like, I bet I'll use some apps less. I bet, I probably won't open social media apps as much. I did use them a lot less. And I decided not to quantitatively chart it and graph it. I just knew I wanted to go in here and kind of give it a week and see how I felt about it. And after 3 days, I was like, oh man, I haven't opened, I think it was Instagram in 2 days. I haven't opened, this or that, where I would just be scrolling through and maybe checking email more often. And I wasn't doing that. So I found that the usage, or rather wasted time usage, really went down. And I'm not against having social media or using these various things, but I just found the random times of just pulling out the phone and using it went way down. And I actually focused more on the things that were on the home screen, and having it there in text only black and white helped. So I spent more time in Reader, spent more time on Readwise, and those for me are, two of my favorite apps, and I love it. And those things help me read, to go over my own highlights, things like that. So that's kind of a double bonus in my mind. So let's talk about the cons or the downsides of this. I think that it would take a lot of time to really optimize this. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of apps that I regularly use, and ideally I could have maybe this mode on during work hours and revert to my like normal phone setup afterwards. Because I didn't want to have a ton of stuff that I said, this is all important, because if you do that, nothing is. But I found that, I've had to go digging and looking up apps, and I need access to my email very quickly during the day. I need access to ClickUp. I want to have shortcuts to create a reminder to do things like that. And that was kind of missing from this. So there was definitely some friction there. And I thought about it. I was like, what's more important? I was like, well, I use my phone as a productivity tool as well. So yes, I need to have some of these shortcuts. I want to have them working. So I think that for me, the downside is you may lose some functionality, but it's still worth testing, which I'll talk about. So I think what I want to do moving forward is go and look at some minimal launchers that can keep things tidy, perhaps have a black and white home screen or an easy kind of toggle, maybe time-based would be amazing. Where you could take away icons and make it black and white, and then maybe after work hours, however you define that, it goes back and it operates more like your normal phone. So I'm going to look into that. If I find something I like, I will definitely share it. But I think that for me, I need to have access. I need to have my groups of things easily available, and I don't care if they're text or icon based, but yes, I'm going to need to have quick access to my email. I'm going to need to have these other productivity-based things that I need to get into. But I think I will look at, perhaps, again, going the text-only route and perhaps trying to get rid of icons. I think that really, really helped. And doing a little bit of friction to get into the other apps, maybe listing them out. I like that text idea. That was actually a bigger thing than I thought it would be. So, who would I recommend this to, or, who do I think would get the most out of this, and should you do it? I think if you're thinking about this already and you think I'm either using my phone too much, it's distracting me, definitely try one of these apps. I'm sure there's more than one. I just used the one I found and liked it, but it's been really eye-opening how much my behavior changed based on just switching around the configuration on the phone. So even if you don't stick with whatever app or thing you use, I think you can realize, like I did, maybe what some of the bigger problems are and what the gains are from using something like this, and then figuring out perhaps how you can do it on your own, or stick with it and just kind of make it work. Maybe there would be a way I could have like hacked in some quick shortcuts or something. I just didn't want to spend the time doing that. I think I'm better off going a different route. But again, for you, I think testing it out and just give yourself a week and see what you like, what you don't. Are your pros and cons kind of the same as me? And then you have now that baseline of like, oh yeah, this was really good. This is what worked. Here's what I can improve, something like that. Well, thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, leave it below and I'll get back to you. You can subscribe here or check out the newsletter for more in-depth content at news.productivity.academy.